Hello ladies and gentlemen, Sigvaldogrim here, and today we are going to revisit the tier list for the teams for solo raids. I have done a previous one which was addressing the normal mode, but from heroic mode on you will not be able to reuse characters in a window of 24 hours. And in that window you'll get 6 pips. So that really changes things around if we can't reuse characters, and you'll need to have pretty much 6 good teams for heroic and above. And pretty much this is what the tier list is going to focus on. It will try to set up 6 optimal teams. If you don't have these 6 optimal teams, there's still some options for replacements that I will also talk about. And there's also some teams that I will mention that will be very specific teams, which will be pretty much the best teams for one specific boss, but they would have no reason to be used in other places. And yeah, I'm talking about teams that are specifically made to beat Boss Joker. So yeah, we pretty much have everything on this list, so hopefully I don't miss another section like I did last time. So yeah, if you enjoy this list, like, comment, subscribe to support the channel, dislike it if you dislike it, maybe hit that bell button to get notified for every single upload, and let's get into it! Also, all the raid footage that you will see in this video will be from Redblade, so make sure you check out his channel. He has very good raid gameplay and solo raid gameplay, so I'll leave a link in the description, I'll leave a link in the pinned comment. Go ahead and subscribe to him if you like the content and hit that bell button. We are going to start off with the bottom tier, which is not the bottom tier because it's bad, it's bottom tier because it's going to be something like not really in this list, but something worth mentioning. Because over here we are going to have 3 teams that are very specific, and they are going to be pretty much almost the best teams for some specific bosses, but other than those places you have no reason to use them or build them. And that's why I made a specific tier for them, because it would have been unfair to rank them against other teams that are on this list, because the other teams that are on this list can be pretty much used in most places. These teams are specifically made to counter specific bosses. So yeah, getting into the first team, we have the Black Manta team, but we swap out Justice League the Flash, and we put in Ace Green Arrow. So how is this gonna work? Of course, we have Black Manta, everybody knows Black Manta, he's going to be a great damage dealer. We have Brainiac to be a support character for Black Manta, and Brainiac is the best support character for Black Manta. And we swap Just Like the Flash out for Ace Green Arrow in order to fight Darkseid. Because as you all know, Darkseid has a thing where he is going to use his super move in order to one-shot your teammate. So this team is going to be good if you don't have the Aegis, the new artifact, the Superman looking like armor that will make a character survive through the Darkseid supernova. If you got that, you don't need this team, but if you don't have that, you'll need to use Ace Green Arrow in order to reduce the power bars of Darkseid and lock his power generation when you tag out. So yeah, for that specific thing, if you don't have Aegis, you should definitely use this team. If not, don't bother with it. Next up, we're going to have the League of Anarchy team, and yes, the full League of Anarchy team with Joker, Harley, and Entangling Poison Ivy. This is going to be very useful when fighting Boss Joker, but other than that, and Boss Joker, not Sub-Boss Lord Joker, Boss Joker, because of the fact that 2 things make this team very great for this. So, first of all, Boss Joker is going to stun your team, and that's a little bit of a problem, but for that we have Heartbreaker Harley Quinn, which is going to be able to reflect those stuns back to Joker. He will not get stunned because he has stun resistance, but neither will your team. And last left, the Joker will also benefit from the minions of Joker dying. So yeah, when Joker spawns a minion and the minion dies, the prisoner dies, the boss is going to benefit from it, but so will your last left the Joker. Though you could argue this is not the most optimal team you could do for those characters, and still the Arkham Knight, Batman, Heartbreaker, Harley Quinn, Poison Ivy is a better team, but it's a little bit worth mentioning. Keep in mind, I'm still at the specific teams. And next up, we're going to have the last team on the specific teams, and yeah, maybe there could have been more teams over here, maybe we'll have more teams in this tier over time as things go on and people find more combinations. But this team will have Batman Jaguar Lagrod as a combo builder, Keon Lance Aquaman as a damage dealer, and Silver Aquaman. So, for those of you unfamiliar, Silver Aquaman passive is going to give you resistance to stun for each one of your Might teammates. So by placing him in this team with Kingsland Stockholm, which is a might teammate, and Batman Jaguar Lagros, which is also a might teammate, he'll give you a pretty damn good stun resistance against both Joker, and that will prevent stuns. So yeah, this is everything for the specific teams tier list. Those are good for those specific roles that I have mentioned. Other than that, you pretty much have absolutely no reason to build or play them, because those characters that you see over here will be higher on this list in more optimal teams that don't require those characters that I have specified here. So yeah, let's get into the next tier. Moving up, we are going to have the not worth tier. Those are going to be teams that would be pretty good teams if you were playing on normal, but on heroic mode you can't reuse characters, and because of the fact that you can't reuse characters, you are not going to be able to build these teams, because while these teams, at least some of them, might be actually only one of them. The first team might be actually the best team for soul rates. The problem is that you're much better off building two teams out of this one and benefiting from that. So yeah, starting off with Batman Jaguar Lagros, Flash, and Kingsland Aquaman. You can't really use this team because Flash is going to be required for Black Manta. Batman Jaguar Lagros is going to be required for Batman Ninja team, and Kingsland Aquaman will have a team of his own that can help him pretty well. Not as good as this team, but close to as good as this team. Next up, we are going to have the League of Anarchy team with Last Left the Joker and Justice League the Flash, and there's two problems with this. First of all, in normal leagues, Last Left the Joker is going to be so good because of the fact that he's able to benefit from killing Brainiac's minions. In soul raids, most of the fights are not going to have minions, so you are not going to benefit from that passive. And when Last Left the Joker does not benefit from that passive, he's not as good as a damage dealer compared to when he benefits from that passive. Second reason, Justice League the Flash is needed for Black Manta. Third reason, Entangling Poison Ivy is needed for Heartbreaker Harley Quinn, and Heartbreaker Harley Quinn will do better damage in most fights than Last Left the Joker in soul raids. And at the same time, she will be more versatile, being able to tackle more bosses and counter more bosses. So yeah, a pretty solid team that unfortunately you have no reason to build, because those characters are going to go into different places, unfortunately. Next team, we're going to have the Black Adam team. Black Adam is a pretty solid character, a pretty good character, but he's definitely not in the top 6 teams, unfortunately. And the problem with this team is the fact that it requires a power reduction character, which will be Dr. Fate or Power Girl. And the problem is that we will have higher on this list 2 teams that also require a power reduction character, and they do more damage than him. So by building this team, you are going to deny yourself one of 2 teams that we will talk about later on this list, and that are going to be better. And the second problem is the fact that you are going to have to also use Shazam. You don't have to, but Shazam will help tremendously. And why would you put Shazam in the Black Adam team when you can put him into the Kingsland Aquaman team? So yeah, a pretty solid team if we could reuse characters, but unfortunately that's not the case. And the last on this list is going to be the Justice League team. Justice League Cyborg, Justice League Aquaman, Justice League the Flash. And there's a little bit of a problem with this one. So in this team, usually the main damage dealer would be the Flash. But the Flash will be going into the Black Manta team, as we have discussed. And since the Flash is going into the Black Manta team, Cyborg will go into a better team that we will discuss a little bit later on this list. And Justice League Aquaman will not really be needed. So yeah, this is really the not worth list, and I need to specify one thing. In the case of the League of Anarchy team, if you don't have Arkham Knight Batman or Heartbreaker Harley Quinn, you can still use this team. In case of Black Adam team, if you don't have Silver Banshee built but you have Black Adam, you can use the power reduction character from the Silver Banshee and give him just a random support character and make that work. And in case of the Justice League team, if you don't have Justice League Superman, I guess you could use Cyborg, Aquaman, and whatever else, maybe Bane, and you can make this work. So those teams, you can make them work if you don't have other options, but if you have other options, they are not worth it, because above them will be 7 other teams that you can pick from. You keep in mind you need 6 teams, so above this will be 7 teams that you can pick from. And yeah, if you can have 6 of the 7 teams, there's no reason for you to use this team. But if you don't, you might be able to use Justice League Cyborg, Justice League Aquaman, and Bane, let's say, or something like that. So yeah, this is everything for the net worth tier. Those are pretty damn good teams, don't get me wrong, but they are simply not optimal for the way that soul rates function. So yeah, with all that being said, let's get into the next tier. In the C tier, we are going to have only one team. We are going to have Justice League Cyborg, Justice League Superman, and I put there Silver Batman, but there can be pretty much any Batman character. So you should put Silver Batman if you don't have your Justice League Superman built with max critical attack chance and you need that extra little bit. And this team will have as main damage dealer Justice League Superman, and it will perform pretty well. But the problem with this, actually not really the problem with this, but why it's on the C tier, is because of the fact that above this we are going to have 6 teams. 6 teams being exactly how many teams you are going to be required to have. And while comparing all the other teams that are above this with this one, I have came to the conclusion that this is going to be the least good out of them. So that's why I put it separately into the C tier to just divide this additional team that you can use if you are missing any of the above teams from the other teams that are above it. So the most optimal would be all the teams that are above this team. If you don't have a team, feel free to replace any of them with this because this will perform well for you. You have Justice League Cyborg buffing up the damage on basic attacks. You have a Batman character buffing up the attack of Justice League Superman, and you have Justice League Superman just punching his way in the battle. And yeah, also why I have placed this all the way into C tier compared to the other teams is that out of all of them, this will deal the least amount of damage. It will still deal loads of damage, but compared to other teams, still the least amount of damage. Maybe it could deal in some specific situations more than other teams. But yeah, still a very solid team, still might be usable in some specific scenarios even if you have all the above 6 teams. If you are missing one, definitely go for this team, a very solid team. But yeah, that's why it's in the C tier. So definitely I can't emphasize this enough, not a bad team. Now let's get on to the B tier. In the B tier we are going to have 2 teams, the Multiverse team and the Silver Banshee team. First of all, let's go over the Multiverse team. So Multiverse team is going to function exactly like it functions in raids, normal raids. We're going to have Multiverse Armored Supergirl, Multiverse The Flash, and Red Hood. Multiverse The Flash is going to give critical attack chance, critical attack damage, be a great combo builder. Multiverse Armored Supergirl will do her thing and deal lots of damage. And this team will be specifically good against bosses that have crit resistance or are immune to critical attacks because it denies that. Actually, only the bosses that are immune to critical attacks because it denies that. But other than that, it's going to be a pretty versatile team. You can use them in most fights, but unfortunately not all fights. You can't use them in fights that don't really let you tag in and out because that's the whole purpose of the team. And yeah, it's going to be a solid team, definitely must have in the top 6 teams that you're going to use through your whole 6 pips. But it's solo on this list because of the fact that you can't use it everywhere, first of all, and secondly because it does not deal as much damage as the other teams on this list. Also on this list we are going to have the Silver Banshee team, and it's going to be requiring a power reduction character, being Power Girl, and a combo builder. I have not seen anybody yet try or have a good attempt with Predator Batman, because it simply seems like in terms of solo rates, the better Silver Banshee team is the traditional Silver Banshee team with Reverse the Flash as a support character. It simply seems to work better, and you should use Power Girl over here because Dr. Fate is going to have an infinite combo while using Father Box, and you don't really need to take advantage of that here because you have Reverse the Flash as a combo builder, so we will save up Dr. Fate for later. Over here it's not like Dr. Fate or Power Girl, whatever. Over here it's Power Girl, because Dr. Fate is going to have another use in a team that we will discuss further on this video. So yeah, this team is going to deal some pretty decent amount of damage. It's going to deal higher amounts of damage than the Multiverse team, as far as I'm aware. But yet again, the problem with this is that it's not the most versatile team in the game and will not perform well in every single fight of the game. But other than that, definitely a reliable team. So yeah, just the same good old gameplay. cancel the special attacks of the enemy, build up combo, use a special tree with Silver Banshee. And yeah, also a problem, there are some characters that can't have their special attacks disabled. So you can still use the team against those characters, but you just don't disable the abilities, build a huge combo in tagging for special tree. That also works, but unfortunately only B tier for this. Definitely a great team, definitely a must-have team in your 6 teams arsenal for solo raids, but not as good as the ones that are to come. So yeah, with all that being said, let's move on to the A tier. Okay, so when I made a comparison between A tier and S tier, I didn't really take into consideration the versatility of the teams, because those 4 teams that we are going to have in A and S tier are pretty much going to be able to hit almost everywhere. So that's not really taken into consideration, but what I did take into consideration was more or less the amount of damage that they are able to deal, excuse me. So first of all, we're going to have the Black Manta team. Black Manta team will have Black Manta, Brainiac, and Just Like the Flash. This is the most optimal Black Manta team that you are going to be able to use. And it will play just simply like you have Black Manta in there. He's going to use the super move, he's going to use basic attacks, he's going to use special tree from time to time, bam, huge damage. Pretty simple stuff, and a very good thing about this team is that Black Manta will also be very tanky without you even having to build him tanky. And it will perform amazingly for you in terms of absolutely any fight. Like this team you can take in literally any fight in the game. You might have to be a little bit careful with it against boss Laszlo the Joker, but other than that, it shouldn't have a problem against any character over here. And the big props to it is the fact that it deals damage from with basic attacks, so you don't have problems against characters with shields. So yeah, a very solid team. You could even argue for this being into the S tier instead of A tier. I just put it into the A tier for the fact that I consider it deals a little bit less damage than the teams in S tier, but yet again the teams in S tier and A tier are going to be almost as good as the other. Next up, we are going to have the Batman Ninja team. The full Batman Ninja team being comprised of Batman Ninja Catwoman, Batman Ninja Gorilla Grodd, and Batman Ninja Robin. Those 3 are going to be must-have characters, all of them, because they do such a great job supporting each other. Batman Ninja Catwoman is going to be the damage dealer, maybe alongside with Batman Ninja Gorilla Grodd being double damage dealers if you're still using double all blades. If you're using one of the new artifacts, then not really. Batman Ninja Robin is going to boost their damage, Batman Ninja Gorilla Grodd doing the thing, being the best combo builder in the game, reducing armor, reducing attack of the enemy, giving you power. Batman Ninja Catwoman being a great damage dealer, as I have said. So yeah, this team is going to be very versatile, you are going to be able to take it literally into any fight. Because while you can tag in and out with no problems, and you will benefit from that, you can still leave Batman Ninja Catwoman alone to deal with the fights where you can't tag in and out. And the fact that all of them are going to have healing, and they are going to also benefit from the immortality passive of Batman Ninja Catwoman, this will make this a very hard to kill team and a very safe team to play. So yeah, those are going to be the teams for the A tier. You could definitely argue for them being in the S tier, or swapping around some teams in the S tier, or putting all 4 of them into the S tier, but I just tried to make a little bit of a difference here, though those 4 teams are going to be great. They are going to be amazing, and they are going to be performing very well for you in solo raids, and if you have them, you're a blessed man. So yeah, let's get into the S tier. In the S tier, we're going to have what are, in my opinion, the best 2 teams in the entire game in terms of solo raids. First of all, we're going to have the Arkham Knight Batman with Heartbreaker Harley Quinn and Entangling Poison Ivy, the League of Anarchy team. This is going to deal tremendous amounts of damage to the enemy, and this is going to be the League of Anarchy team that we are going to be using yet again, because the Laszlo the Joker team will not really benefit from characters dying like it does in normal raids. And yeah, the usual gameplay, you go in with Arkham Knight Batman, you stun the enemy, even if it's immune at stun, you'll have a 50% chance to still stun him, and then you tag in Heartbreaker Harley Quinn and you use your basic attacks until the enemy is going to die. And this will perform pretty well for you in the most fights. The only fight that I think this will have problems is the Black Manta boss fight, because over there the tagged out characters will also take damage. In terms of fights that stun you on tagging, like the Speed Force the Flash and Last of the Joker, you will not have a problem because Heartbreaker Harley Quinn will be able to reflect those stuns. So yeah, a very solid team, will deal a tremendous amount of damage, can hit almost anywhere. It's pretty damn safe to play because of the fact that Arkham Knight Batman will also buff by a lot the tankiness of Heartbreaker Harley Quinn since she's an agility character. So yeah, one of the best teams in the entire game for Soul Raids. I don't know what else is to be said about this. And the other team in S tier will be the Kim Clancy Aquaman team, having Dr. Fate, Shazam, and Kim Clancy Aquaman. So yeah, Dr. Fate is able to do an infinite combo with the Father Box, so that can lead into an infinite combo. That sounds weird. That can lead into an infinite combo where you tag in with Kim Clancy Aquaman, use a special tree, keep up your combo, then tag in Dr. Fate, doing the infinite combo, tagging Kim Clancy Aquaman, keeping it like this all the fight, and it will perform amazingly for you. You're also going to have Shazam to boost the damage of both of them to an extent, because while your Dr. Fate will be a tank character with fast attack, you'll still get the attack from the Father Box, since that will get also amplified a little bit by Shazam. Shazam is going to be able to heal your characters if anything happens. And this is so high on this list because there is literally no fight in the game where this team is not going to perform well and is not going to be hitting, except for Joker, where you might want to add the Batman Jaguar Lagrotte and Silver Aquaman. Though it's not a must, you can still kind of do it with this team. But other than that, literally any fight in the game, this team will perform amazingly for you no matter what. And it's so high on this list simply because of the enormous amount of damage Kim Clancy Aquaman is going to deal on the first three special trees. Like, some bosses are going to have a damage cap that you cannot breach, you cannot damage over that cap. Some bosses are not going to really have that cap, and that cap for some bosses is going to be a little bit high. So you might get some pretty damn sick special trees in with Kim Clancy Aquaman when you begin fighting a boss for the first time. And yeah, very versatile team, huge amount of damage with the special trees of Kim Clancy Aquaman. Like, this is out of this world at this point. It's so much damage that I'm tempted to take the League of Anarchy team down the A tier and only leave this team in S tier. But yeah, this is going to be it for the S tier. Now let's take a whole picture look at the whole tier list. So yeah, you can see over here that, as I have said in Soul Raids, you are going to most likely be required to have 6 teams. And I have done my best to put in the first 3 brackets 6 teams. So those 6 teams that you see in the S, A, and B tier are going to be the absolute best teams that you're going to be able to use in Soul Raids. The C tier is going to be a good replacement for any team that you're missing. In the not worth tier, the Joker League of Anarchy team is going to be a good replacement for the S tier team if you don't have Heartbreaker Harley Quinn or Arkham Knight Batman, but is not going to perform as well. Gonna tell you from now, not going to be an S tier team anymore. The Black Adam team can be a replacement for the Silver Banshee team, but without Shazam. And the Justice League team can be a replacement for the Justice League Superman team. So yeah, the not worth tier can be kind of replacement tier. Except for the Batman Ninja, Gorilla Grodd, Kim Clancy Aquaman, Justice League the Flash team. That's not really worth doing because you need the full Batman Ninja team. And these specific teams, just use them whenever you want. But your main focus should be on these 6 teams that are in the first 3 tiers for Soul Raids. So yeah, this was everything for this one. This was my list. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you found this helpful and informative. Like, comment, subscribe to support the channel. Dislike it if you dislike it. Maybe hit that bell button, and I'll see you in the next one.